The following podcast is brought to you by the Johners Podcasting Network, found exclusively at WrestlingWithJohners.com.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another edition of Ring Around the Jabroni. I am your host at Syracuse, New York, Sarah from Bucklebomb Entertainment. Also, right below me, we have from Bucklebomb Entertainment, Mr. DMC Grizzle. How are you this evening?
Fantastic.
Back
Lovely.
at work, Jason.
It's good to be here, back at work. We had power out for 4 days. We just made everything in the restaurant again.
Fun. To my right, we have joining us Mr. Curtis Rich, also known as Ontario Gumby.
How's it going, everyone?
Great. And to my diagonal, we have Kyle. Kyle, how are you tonight?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I am fantastic. All right. Are we ready for the world's greatest debate show?
I'm ready.
Let's do it.
I are stoked.
First, Daniel, we'll give you a little time. What do you got going on? Anything you want to promote?
Well, we kept saying that whenever the AEW video game actually comes out, that will be full-blown on Twitch with a lot of gaming content, but we may have to go ahead and make plans just in case that doesn't happen in the next 6 years of my life. No, I'm sure it's going to come out soon and it'll be awesome. But
I can't wait.
I can't either. Like I'm just going to play that game all the time. It's going to be
like if my camera could show, like that's all wrestling games.
Yeah.
I play, live and breathe wrestling games. So super excited for AEW and just Yuke's actually getting a chance to do something different. It's really exciting, and everything they show just looks like a Here Comes the Pain successor, and that's what intrigues me about the whole AEW game. It just looks like they're being very experimental and doing what they've wanted to do with the WWE license, but been stronghold by both the WWE and 2K, because unfortunately that's what 2K does.
I mean, let's be honest, we're all gonna make the AEW guys in the new WWE game anyways.
That's what I was gonna. I was either gonna do that or GCW.
Totally.
That's literally all I ever do is get on Universe mode and basically turn 2K into an AEW game.
I can't wait
Ninja
for
Mag.
the new 2K game.
Yeah,
So
me too.
much.
It looks promising.
I
I
know
wish I
2K20 was such a burn, but I just really can't wait to get into GM mode again, see how they do that. I can't wait to see how they redo the career mode, because I've been dying for an actual storyline career mode. So I'm glad they killed whatever they had in the last couple of years. It just wasn't working. And of course, universe mode is always fun. So I'm excited to see how different the GM mode's going to be compared to the universe mode.
Yeah. I'm just ready to finally put down 2K19 because I didn't even I don't even play 2K20. I'm still on 2K19.
2K19 was great though. It was a good
2K19
did a lot of stuff with the good old 2K19.
2K20 was so bad.
All right, we'll get started here. For those of us new who are joining us who haven't seen our show before, this works like Around the Horn. We've got a series of wrestling topics. Each person will get a chance to answer the question with their own opinion. 2 best opinions each round will win a point. After 6 rounds, we'll eliminate the bottom score, and the top 2 will go at it for this week's championship. And over the summer, we will have a returning tournament of champions, which will be fun. All right. So we will start the first question out. Curtis, you'll be the first one to answer this one. People on the internet are talking. Someone came up with the idea of Shane McMahon starting his own promotion. Good idea or bad idea?
I think it would be a bad idea. And the reason why I would say it's a bad idea is because he would already have the stink of Vince McMahon and just trying to chase his father's legacy or trying to output his father's legacy. I would guarantee that his father would probably take offense to that, because he wouldn't want any competition unless Shane was doing some kind of under promotion, like a development like NXT. But then that would completely erase the relevancy or reason for NXT. So why would you do that? So I think just the idea of Shane McMahon actually doing his own promotion, not to mention all the talks of like the heat he had for the Royal Rumble and everything, and just not to mention the fact that he was released kind of justifies and signifies that that heat. I don't think him running a promotion would really do well, especially with how intense the competition is now and how great like Impact and GCW and everyone's just like gaining steam. I just don't see Shane McMahon like running a successful promotion, and if he did, it would probably be just as bad as Global Force Wrestling. It failed just as bad as Global Force Wrestling.
Yeah, very excellent points. Kyle, how do you feel?
I also agree with Curtis that it would be a bad idea, and basically just to piggyback what everything was Curtis saying, but also want to add that given what we've heard about Shane, it would essentially basically be like Jeff Jarrett in the early days of TNA, where Shane McMahon's just putting the belt on himself, basically, and just trying to basically go over everybody. That's what I feel like it would be like.
Trying to fight everybody backstage too, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
DMC Grizzle, how you feeling?
Ladies and gentlemen, coming to you 2023, Shane McMahon revives Lucha Underground in his own, in his own image. You heard it here first, folks. Breaking news. No, this is a horrible idea. Of course, it's a terrible idea. I mean, if you're going to, no, it's just a bad idea. Like, I don't even know that we have to say too much more about it. Lucha Underground coming back. Shane McMahon, David Arquette, your first champion. I mean, it's gonna be amazing. I don't know what everyone's worried about.
It'd be like a high production Raw Underground.
Yeah, I mean, look, I think Shane McMahon can be successful somewhere. I don't know that it's here. He's actually not a bad actor. Maybe he should just focus on that for a little while. Maybe we have enough promotions.
Hey,
if he showed up in GCW and got pizza cuttered by Nick Gage, I think that would be amazing. But I don't think that's ever going to happen.
Yeah, I saw a kayfabe news article after Shane McMahon got fired saying Shane McMahon's reviving WCW.
I saw that too. I cried.
And those people that take it serious, they don't realize that it's the wrestling girls with Onion, and they're thinking, great, this is fantastic.
Yeah, I know. I love kayfabe news. It's great.
But
like Daniel, though, I have to disagree with Daniel though that I actually wouldn't mind David Arquette getting a championship run again, just because
he's a hard worker.
After watching his documentary, and just being a massive Scream fan, I'm a huge fan of David Arquette, so I'm down for it. I think he deserves it.
He puts the work in. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah. Especially if anyone hadn't seen it, watch his documentary. You Can't Kill David Arquette. I think it's on Amazon.
Fantastic.
Prime. Yeah,
it's really great.
All right, so round one, we're going to give the points to Kyle and Curtis. Daniel, bring up the thought of that could possibly happen of him reviving Lucha Underground is just scary and unfair. Hopefully Shane is not listening to this podcast.
I'm happy to not receive points for that.
I really hope Daniel didn't just manifest that. We're gonna see it.
-3 stars.
It's out there in the universe now.
It's gonna be like how it's gonna be like how when AEW first started, there was rumblings of AEW starting. We're gonna see rumblings later on this year of Lucha Underground restarting.
I put it out there. This is
we're like shit, Daniel.
All right, Kyle, you'll get to answer question number 2 first here.
Uh-oh.
Lita, the Bella Twins, Goldberg. When legends come back, should they get immediate title shots and or runs?
Immediate title shots. I don't think they should get immediate title shots. I'm on I'm one of the people that believe that people should earn their title shots, and especially when it comes to Goldberg. I mean, come on, the guy's gotten a title shot every single time he comes back.
Yeah,
it's like, is that part of his contract? Does he just when he comes back, is that he just immediately title shot?
Yes.
Thinking it's got to be. And now we got Lita getting her first match back. Aside from the Rumble, she's getting a Raw Women's title shot.
Yeah, Raw Women. Yeah, that's just weird. And honestly, it also as a wrestling fan, it makes me just not even want to watch the match when it's because they're not going to win.
It's predictable
unless it's Goldberg. Then could be, but like it's just a cop out just to
Mhm.
have them have a match and beat somebody.
Yeah, indeed. Daniel, how you feeling?
Well, who's champion at the time? That's my question, and that's the ultimate question. I think, like, I am all about people having to earn their spots, but if you tell me that Liv Morgan is SmackDown champion and Lita wants to challenge for that belt and she beats Lita, I don't think anyone's going to be upset about that. I also don't think anybody wants to see Goldberg wrestle anyone ever anymore. I'm sorry. I'm personally over Goldberg, but if you like Goldberg, I appreciate the character. We can do a whole podcast on Goldberg. I'd love to talk about it. So I think it's weird when you have Goldberg and Brock Lesnar in the same kind of sphere because they kind of have the same effect on people in terms of, that one person that can come in and, oh, we just changed champions on, like that. So I think it definitely matters who the champion is at the time. And if you're going to help some younger fucking stars.
Agree. Curtis.
So my counter to you saying who would care, I will say the females who are working every single goddamn week in the backstage, who basically get their spot kicked right out because someone who's a legend who comes in gets a title shot just simply because of their clout and comes in and just says, I get a title shot. Now, there's a difference if they come in and they win a fatal four-way or they're winning something, then you can just blame ultimately you can just blame the booking on that. It's not the wrestler's fault. You're going to take a spot if you're going to get a spot.
Right.
But it does set a bad precedent and a bad aura for the women in the backstage. I do agree that I don't think legends should get a title shot when they get in and automatically get a title run, especially because I don't feel it helps anyone. And because, we can go all the way back to CM Punk versus The Rock. Did it help CM Punk? Did it help The Rock? Did it help John Cena? It helped no one. The only thing it did was it buried The Miz, and it made The Miz back into the mid card, and Miz has not been able to recover ever since then. So in a way, it actually hurt more people doing that. And I was one of those people in Toronto, Ontario in 2016 when Goldberg came back and beat Brock Lesnar in less than 36 seconds. I have never been to a live event where the energy just sucked right out of the crowd right away. That crowd was silent. You could hear a fucking pin drop on that. It was so bad. There was 22,000 people, including myself, chanting Goldberg the moment he came out. We all love that. We all love the pop. We all love seeing our legends. And I'm not telling you I don't ever want to see the legends. It's great to see them. It's great, especially if they can still perform like Goldust, especially at Goldust's age. He's still performing like he's like 25, 30 years old. If they can still go, let them go, but they don't need the title. It doesn't elevate them. It doesn't help the new stars. It hampers the new stars in ways like, look what happened to Bray Wyatt. We never saw him again after. And when he came back, he lost to Roman Reigns, and then we never saw him again. And then he came back, and then arguably Randy Orton's a legend at this point. So he got lost to a legend, went away. Did that help him? My problem is just the booking in general is just they're not booking the legends to help these new stars. You're supposed to build these new talents. So then maybe in the next 10 or 15 years, you can have someone credible like The Rock or like John Cena or like Stone Cold Steve Austin instead of having to bring back these guys every 5 or 10 years.
It feels like
the reason why we have to keep doing that is because we're not building new stars. We're just relying on the old ones that we grew up with. And that's bad.
Yeah, in a way, it feels like it's just more of a it's more of like a WWE thing that they don't know how to use legends because, you look at AEW, Sting hasn't had a championship run, even though he's had great matches. CM Punk isn't going for the championship. You got all these other
they
people.
Don't need it.
Yeah, because they don't need it. And Sting, he's arguably elevated Darby to a higher level than he was before.
Look where MJF. How good did MJF look last week?
Yeah,
seriously. When he beat
awesome.
CM Punk. That was one of the best
in his
looking
hometown at that.
That was amazing.
Twice.
If he wasn't already a star there, if he wasn't already a star then, that's going to elevate him like
Yeah.
And that's the point of legends. They're supposed to elevate and create new stars. MJF is the biggest heel now in AEW. That cements it right there. Like they can go in any direction with him, and he's gonna excel.
All right, so we're gonna go point to Curtis on that one. Such a phenomenal example and personal side of the story here. And then a close race, but I think DMC Grizz will get the second point on that one. All right, Daniel, you actually we're going to give Kyle a chance to talk about what he's got going on. For those that don't know Kyle, he's an admin of AEW All Elite Wrestling Discussion, Danhausen Funhausen, and a AEW official games Discord. Kyle, what do you got going on? What else?
That's about it. Like the AEW All Elite Wrestling Discussion is a Facebook group I've been an admin of since AEW first became a thing. Last year, me and my friends, what we found out, some other people were fans of Danhausen like we were, so we started a Danhausen group to just bring in people who just want to talk about Danhausen. And Danhausen and his dad actually joined the group, and Danhausen has actually become like one of our most active members.
And we will definitely link that in the video description when it hits YouTube tomorrow.
Yeah, then I'm also Fanhausen. Is right, and then I'm also a mod for the AEW Games official Discord as well. Like I can't, like I was glad y'all was talking about it. Like I wish I could tell y'all stuff, but I had to sign an NDA, so I can't talk about it. But you'll probably get some news here soon about it.
You heard it here first, folks.
That's right. Next question. This question is probably you guys are probably the perfect three people to have this question. Danny, you'll get to answer first. Chyna has been now included in the WWE 2K22 game. Fantastic, because we're all gamers here. But should she also go in the Hall of Fame solo?
Well, now you said, is it her time? And the answer is no, it's not her time. She should have been in there 10 years ago. Chyna absolutely 100% deserves to be in the Hall of Fame. She's an absolute legend. She's an incredible character that I don't think now we have analyzed her career, but at the time, I don't think that the layers of her character were truly examined properly. I guess you'd have to say, and especially me, watching her as a 10 and 11-year-old, and then going back and watching all that now and seeing how electric she was and how you really truly believe that she would whoop anyone's ass that walked through that curtain, man or woman, it doesn't matter. Like you truly believe that Chyna was the baddest person on the planet. So yeah, she deserves to go in the Hall of Fame twice, as far as I'm concerned.
Curtis.
Chyna was such an inspiration for me, and I felt she was such an inspiration for women everywhere. Really elevated the spot for what women could do in professional wrestling. I was always just in awe of her, just as a child, just like watching her, and just even all the way down to just like loving the rocket cannon and everything, and just even shooting off t-shirts at points too. And like, Chyna was amazing and always will be amazing to me. And fuck all that, like that stuff about like what she did after her career and everything. I mean, if you want to make that argument, then why don't we just kick out X-Pac then, because he was in the same goddamn video, but he's been in the Hall of Fame how many times? We have so many people who do bad things, but they are still recognized for their achievements in professional wrestling, which is what it's all about. I mean, there's some arguments, like, Chris Benoit, like, you can make an argument for why he's not in the Hall of Fame. You just don't want that kind of publicity for anything. But Chyna, she's already been recognized for DX. She's already recognized in multiple games, multiple DVDs. Even when that stuff was going on, they were still capitalizing on her name, on her success, everything she did in the past. So she absolutely deserves to be in the Hall of Fame, because if you're not going to put her into the Hall of Fame, then you might as well just scrub everything that you even mention about her, because she's all over the network. So, I mean, like, she has her own collection even. So it's just like, why isn't she in the Hall of Fame? It just doesn't make sense.
Petty.
Agree. Kyle?
Yeah, Daniel and Curtis pretty much summed up everything I wanted to say. That's like just wonderful points. But I'll just add that Chyna was pretty much a prime example that women's wrestling can and is on the same level as men's, if not past it at this point.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
there's no denying the chemistry Chyna and Eddie Guerrero had together.
Yeah,
it's true. And you know, like I started watching wrestling again in probably like late 2015 or 16 or so. You know, I took a long break, but I was so happy to see how far the women had come and how was so much more interested in watching what they were going to do than whatever the men were doing. And that's no knock to the men or anything like that. You know, there's nothing wrong with you guys. But I mean, that's what sucked me back in. Like, you know.
Oh yeah. Honestly, like at this point, just because like, you know, like Curtis made the biggest point I wanted to make was that the biggest thing I always hear is people say that she's not included because of the video, but I'm like, well, Xbox was in it, and he's in it. That really makes no sense. At this point, honestly, it seems more like a petty thing. It seems more like that was Triple H's ex, and Stephanie doesn't want her in there because of that.
Exactly.
That's what it seems like.
Exactly.
All right, so for points on this round, we'll go DMC Grizzle with a point. And Curtis, I think, has earned a point as well. Kyle, plenty of time to catch up. We got 3 more questions before the round's over.
Right.
And Curtis, you'll get to answer the next question first. Bryan Danielson was announced today for the Ring of Honor Hall of Fame. Who should go next?
Damn, that's actually a very good question. Is Jay Lethal in the Ring of Honor Hall of Fame yet?
No, this is the first year, and they've only announced the Briscoe brothers last week, and then the second inductee in the first class is Bryan Danielson.
Okay, I'm going to throw my hat in and say Jay Lethal, and it's only because of what he did, what he elevated for the Ring of Honor World Heavyweight Championship, and just like how he went from Black Machismo to just literally becoming one of the hottest, like seeked out like wrestling free agents in the world, and then Ring of Honor scooped him up and literally made him a main eventer, made him a star, and not only made him a star, he made Ring of Honor something. He made Ring of Honor something to pay attention to again. Right when Ring of Honor was starting to slip up a little bit, he literally elevated that main event card again. And I feel the next person to be inducted into the Ring of Honor Hall of Fame should be Jay Lethal, just for what he did for the Ring of Honor World Heavyweight Championship, how much of a businessman and how much he bled and breathed and sweated Ring of Honor. Like when all these places were coming up, everyone was booming, like New Japan, even Impact, like AEW was starting. He stuck with Ring of Honor because he truly believed in that brand. And because of his loyalty, because of his legacy, because what he did for the Ring of Honor, there's so many reasons that I feel that Jay Lethal should be involved and be in the first round of Ring of Honor's Hall of Fame. Absolutely. So my hat's to Jay Lethal. I don't know about anyone else, but
Kyle?
Oh, easy. My man, CM Punk. I mean, the guy's a legend. How many iconic moments did he have in Ring of Honor? I mean, he literally signed his WWE contract on the Ring of Honor Championship. I mean, how awesome a moment is that? And then like how many 5-star classic matches did he have? His feud with Joe is iconic. And not even mention his stuff with Bryan Danielson.
Mm-hmm. Daniel?
You know, I'll stick up for the hardcore guys here on this one because the first name that came to mind was Necro Butcher. So I think that Necro Butcher, if you put him in the first class, I don't know if he quite makes the first class, but I mean, where did you have to go to get that hardcore wrestling after ECW and MLW folded? You had to go to Ring of Honor. You had to go see Necro Butcher and whatever kind of crazy stuff he was coming up with, wrestling barefoot. Just he makes me so uncomfortable, y'all. It's a joy to watch everything that he does. After that, I'd probably have to say Samoa Joe, and then I guess you put Tyler Black also in there as well. So
Yeah.
If
Those would be my three
WWE
answers. There's a lot of people that should be in it, but it also depends on more if WWE will allow it. Like a Tyler Black for sure, and I'm pretty sure Styles as well. He had a Ring of Honor run? Did he not?
Yeah, he had a little bit of Ring of Honor run. But when it came down to Impact breaking off their deal with Ring of Honor, he chose Impact, and Jay Lethal chose Ring of Honor. So.
Yeah.
All right. So points this round, we'll go Curtis, and I'm going to go Kyle on the second point because Daniel, you even said on your answer, you don't know if he would go in on the first class. So you kind of even negated your own answer.
Hey, the deathmatch guys never get the love. It's fine. That's why I stuck up for him.
You gotta have Punk in there just solely for the summer of Punk alone.
Oh yeah, totally, absolutely.
I'm just gonna say there's so many good choices that you can make for Ring of Honor, and there's so many legends that deserve to be in that first class or just in general involved in the Hall of Fame. And I guarantee all these names that we even mentioned are going to get into that Hall of Fame at some point.
Claudio,
their legacy.
Claudio.
Chris Hero.
Yep.
All right, Curtis, why don't you talk about what you got going on?
So I got a bunch going on, but I'll name the recent thing that I've been promoting a lot. I'm involved with a new promotion, so based off in Toronto. So we actually have a show coming up on March 13th. It's New Frontier Pro. It's at the Rock Pile. It's called the Odyssey Begins. So we have like a lot of really great Ontario talent on there. I'll name some names because I'm still NDA and they're still announcing some things. But we got like Warhead, Tarek, the Night Train, Justin Sane, Bloodstained Hurricane, Jesse Amato, Tyler Arrow, the Grinder, Mark Shaw, Josh Vander Cruz, Gabriel Forza, Pretty Ricky, that Kyle, Steve Brown, Freedom Wallace. We have like a list of incredible talent, and we're just piling up a really great show. So that's going to be on Sunday, March 13th at the Rock Pile in Toronto, Ontario. So that's like 5555 Dundas Street West. So if you're in the Toronto or GTA area in Ontario, come check us out. We're gonna be putting on a really good show, and we're hoping to have a really good turnout. So wrestling is really what I have to promote, and I guess my Twitch that you guys are watching on here, if you guys want to, if liking the words that are coming out of my mouth and my opinions and everything, I talk wrestling all the time on my Twitch. So twitch.tv/Ontario Gumby. I'm on 4 days a week. So New Frontier presents Odyssey Begins March 13th. If you're in the Toronto area, come check us out. General admission's like $20, so it's not too.
That's pretty good.
And it should be a really good show. We got a lot of great surprises coming, and it's going to be broadcast on Twitch as well. Yes. So you guys, if you can't make it to the show, you can at least check it out. So all their social medias are New Frontier Pro. So they got a Facebook, they got the Twitter, Instagram. Eventually they'll have the Twitch. I'm involved with that. So you can follow me if you want to get.
Yeah, we'll throw some links down in the video description as well for you guys to check out.
Perfect.
All right. Kyle, you're up first for question number 5.
All right.
Tony Khan says he loves listening to his fans when signing Danhausen. How long can you keep signing all these fan favorites?
Oh, that's a good question because it's been something that I've seen as a bit of a big talking point with AEW because they're signing a lot of great people, and I'm happy that they are. I mean, it's more or less pretty much confirmed that Jeff Hardy's going to be signing to AEW soon, and so that's pretty much all my favorite wrestlers are all in AEW. But it's also there's come a point, it's kind of reached there now where we're starting to see some of the people who have been there from the beginning not really show up that much, and there's a lot of people that's kind of been regulated to either dark or sometimes it's not even booked at all. And it's like we want to see them, put talent, but we have all these other talent, and like I get it from a business standpoint. It's like, if you have a promotion and someone like Keith Lee, Johnny Gargano, etc. become available, you're not going to not sign them. it doesn't make sense not to. But at the same time, you're kind of getting a little bit high on your talent pool, and at some point you're going to have to either start cutting people, or you're going to have to just say, well, it'd be great to have them, but I can't right now.
Daniel?
It's such a fine line of having, the right amount of time for people. And then at the same time, when you tell me that Wyndham Rotunda is available and wants to work in your company, you sign him. When you someone tells you that Keith Lee wants to work for you, you sign him. Like, it's a no-brainer. Adam Cole, Bryan Danielson, like, hey, I think that we'd like to come work here. Okay. And then you figure it out from there. So I think that Tony Khan's a lot smarter than that. That's why I don't own a wrestling promotion, because I would just give all the money away. And so I don't know what the right answer is, but I do know that when you have people of a certain caliber and they're available, you have to give them, especially somebody like Wyndham, like, just because I'm such a huge fan of him and his characters and everything like that. Yeah, you want to give somebody like that the chance to tell their amazing story and be their amazing creative self. Like, it's not just people that that everyone likes. I mean, a lot of these folks that are free agents right now are game changing talents. They are truly exceptional, and you can't say no to exceptional.
Curtis?
Well, people like to make up the point where it's like, oh, he's signing all these people. Like, is AEW going to run out of money? Oh, they're in the red and everything. They want to point out the statistic facts on it. But it's just like, well, how much is Tony Khan's net worth? Not to mention the fact that he has his dad who owns an entire football league. So they have more money than Vince. So, like, they can, like, it's like you guys said, if there's a talent out there that is available, that wants to work in his company, money's not a factor to get him in. And not to mention the fact that he's making a lot of handshake deals. Like, we got to mention the fact that Bryan is allowed to work wherever he wants. If he wants to go to New Japan and do a match over there, he's allowed to do it. Same with Jericho, same with Moxley. Like, so there's nothing stopping him making a whole bunch of different handshake deals just for 1 or 2 matches, just to get that dream match out there, because it's just smart business. So I feel that he can sign whoever he wants and he can make it work. Not to mention, we got to take into the fact that there's going to be a lot of people that are probably going to be let go soon. And there's going to start shit talking on that as well, because it's like, oh, AEW is letting go. He's becoming like Vince McMahon and everything. But not everyone can have a spot on the card. There's just certain people that just aren't working out for AEW, and they're not going to re-sign those people. It's not like there's hard feelings on that, or that they can't come back if there's a demand for them or there's a spot for them. But this just what happens all the time is, like, people come and go and they shift different companies. Some companies work out for other people and some companies don't. So I feel like he could just sign whoever our favorites are and whoever's in demand and keep cycling people out, even if it's for a one-off, just because we've already seen that with a bunch of handshake deals.
Good points there. I think we are going to go Curtis for a point and Daniel for a point here as well. All right. Final question for the round before we eliminate the bottom scorer. Daniel, you'll get to answer first. With the Pro Bowl happening over the weekend in the NFL, what if wrestling promotions had a all-star weekend with skills competitions? Would something like this work? And what would you want to see in the skills competition?
I mean, don't you think wrestlers get injured like enough as it is? Like, do we really need Jungle Boy out here twisting his ankle on an obstacle course?
Assuming no injuries happen. Assuming that no injuries happen, yeah, why not? It's so much fun. So I got to go to the AEW charity softball game that happened right before All Out this year, and unfortunately, I couldn't go to the show because I had some other things to do. But I was in the Chicago area,
And I got to go to this. I drove 9 hours and I landed there, and it was so much fun watching them all out there playing softball, acting completely goofy. So yeah, like in any kind of event that you can have like that, that's fan interactive, like, just make the kids happy. Come on, it's a great idea.
Curtis?
I honestly, I'm on the other side of the fence on this one, and the reason my reasonings for it is look how poorly handled the Cruiserweight Classic was. Like the very first Cruiserweight Classic was handled. They did it very much like skill based, so they were just on the fly picking a winner after 3 or 5 minutes, just letting them showcase what they could do. And that led to a lot of screwy kind of bookings. And then even when they had their pick choice was Zack Sabre Jr., Zack Sabre Jr. couldn't sign, or just didn't want to sign. So then they went with TJP, which that was controversial in itself for what they chose. So it's just like, I feel like whatever you do in that kind of scenario, you're going to piss off a lot of people, and not everyone's going to be happy, and there's going to be a lot of mixed things, and just some people were going to have some favoritism. And it's just like, I just don't see a fair way of judging that, because it's not like MMA where someone gets knocked the fuck out. Someone's knocked the fuck out. It's a KO. It's a decisive factor.
Right.
How would you base an all-star weekend with skill competitions on that, when it's just like, okay, go off here and do like a 450 off of the top rope, and whoever could do the most precise 450 and have a better, like, how would you skill that? And
what if it's not wrestling stuff though? What if it's just like, fun, all fun and games?
So you got your heavyweights, like do a weightlifting competition.
Okay, well then my counter to that, then you just have a bigger fucking first version of NXT, which was also bad and based on skill competition. So I mean, like,
give him a point just for that.
You want to have like an NXT 1.0 refresh with a bunch of different guys? Like, that's just bad. Like, they already did that with NXT. And it failed miserably. They did that with the Cruiserweight Classic. It failed miserably. So I just don't see how you can make that entertaining and also good on television.
Fair points. Kyle?
Yeah, I'm going to go with Curtis with no on this, because it definitely would be like the game show version of NXT. And it's also like, why would you do this? It's like, I get it's just a showcase some like interesting skills, but like, we watch wrestling for obviously wrestling, but also storyline and stuff like this. And it's like, I don't really see if this would be something like fans would enjoy seeing.
All right. I think points. I think we go Daniel and Curtis here again. Curtis grabbing a perfect 6 points here.
Nailing it.
So the final round will be between Curtis and Daniel for this week's champion. Curtis, since you are in the lead, I will let you decide. Do you want to answer first or let Daniel answer this question first?
I'll let Daniel answer this question first.
No. He's such
Daniel,
a good
you
counter.
ready?
He's a good counter arguer, though.
Good strategy.
Booker T recently said he thinks The Undertaker will have one more match in him, not at this year's WrestleMania, but down the line. Who should The Undertaker face in one last match, or should he not have another match at all?
I don't think he should have another match at all, but if he does, it's got to be Kane. I mean, like, who else in the world? I mean, maybe Shawn Michaels, I guess you'd say, but it's got to be Kane. It's got to be Kane. It absolutely has to be Kane. I mean, what a cool story. You remember him ripping off the door? I know we talk about that all the time. You remember how actually cool that was to find out that The Undertaker had a brother and it manifested right in front of your eyes, and then he whooped his ass? Like, I mean, who else could it possibly be? It has to be Kane.
I will say he should, just because but he should come back as like the motorcycle, like human riding Undertaker, because just to continue the context of what his last cinematic match. But I think it should be against Brock Lesnar, And the reason why for that, because he never got his heat back. And that Brock Lesnar storyline basically never really actually finished off. He never got to revenge for getting that loss against WrestleMania. It kind of tarnished his legacy. He could make arguments for that. And also he could just literally, you could set another WrestleMania one last ride. And how awesome would it be to see him coming out to Limp Bizkit, and the fact that Limp Bizkit is back, you could have Limp Bizkit come out to Keep Rolling. And
What year is this?
Well,
Right.
I mean, they keep bringing back Kid Rock, so I mean, like anything is possible. But I mean, the fact that Limp Bizkit's back, and you never settled or gave Undertaker his victory against Brock Lesnar, I think you could do another rematch with that and potentially get a pop with Limp Bizkit coming back and that like dad vibe that he has now, because he looks like a 45-year-old father now, and it's hilarious. And I'd love to see him come out.
Yeah.
Daddy Durst.
Well, this is a tough call because, Danny, you make the good point with Undertaker coming back and facing one of his biggest rivals, Kane. But the idea of Undertaker coming back and, for one last match, just settle that score, I think that's the story they could build up for a while. I got to go Curtis here for the win.
I was going to tell you to give him the
Brock
point. It's a
Lesnar.
great idea. As long as it's a cinematic match, though, because like the
Yes.
Boneyard match was just so freaking cool. Like for that to be your actual last match, that's so cool.
Yeah.
The only thing I think it would tarnish though, if they brought him back, is it would be like how they had like 15,000 final Shield runs. It's like how many one last matches and how can you have with the Undertaker?
The way you do it is you have it be Brock Lesnar's last match too.
Oh,
You make it
yeah.
the last match for both men, and they just go all
That would
out
be
in
something.
a cinematic match, and
Yeah.
just literally Undertaker can go off in the sunset afterwards, and like even in a cinematic thing, you could like have Undertaker's entrance literally be like a fucking Limp Bizkit Keep Rolling music video like reboot from like when they did that with him in like 2004. You could literally recreate that for the modern day, but just do that as a cinematic entrance for the Undertaker.
I love it.
I would lose my mind.
That would be fantastic.
American Badass Undertaker one more time. Yeah. That'd be great.
All right. Well, that will do it all for us here today. Curtis, Kyle, Daniel, thank you for joining us here today. I'll have you back on again sometime soon.
Yes, I would love to come back on. This was a lot of fun. Thank you so much.
Thanks. Have a great night, everyone.
Watch wrestling, buy t-shirts.
Yes.
I
Watch wrestling, buy merch, support your local wrestling company.